If you're a fan of a good farming game like me, then I have 10 amazing farming games that you need to check out. These games are in no particular order as I loved every single one of them, and they're also from a mixture of gaming platforms, so there's something for everyone. I have done reviews for most of these, so I'll link them in the description below and feel free to check them out if you're interested. First up we have Dinkum, which is basically if Animal Crossing was set in Australia. This game is currently only available on Windows, but will be released on PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo Switch in the future. The story for Dinkum is that you decide to take a chance to move away from the gloomy city you find yourself in and travel south to a new undiscovered land, which happens to be Australia. Here you'll begin building your very own settlement, where you'll convince people to move in and open up shops to grow your own little town. You'll be able to place buildings, terraform the land, decorate with fences, paths, plants, and other structures, grow crops, and take care of animals. Each playthrough has its own randomly generated map for you to explore, filled with native Australian wildlife like crocodiles, dingoes, emus, and kangaroos, and you'll also be able to collect a wide range of resources like ore and native Australian plants. To add to this, there's a bunch of other things for you to do like exploring the mines, fishing, bug catching, completing the museum collection, cooking and hunting, and exploring the land in a wide variety of vehicles. Dinkum doesn't really have much of a main story past the beginning. Similar to Animal Crossing, the main focus is on expanding your settlement, exploring, upgrading everything, and purchasing all that's available. I really do recommend this one if you're a fan of Animal Crossing. It's probably one of the most similar games I've found to date. Keep in mind that it's also currently in early access, although it certainly doesn't feel like it, so much more stuff will be added to the game as time goes on. Next up is Wildflowers, which is a game available on PC, Nintendo Switch, and even iOS for those of you who would prefer to play it on your phone. This game blew me away with the detail, content, and story, and is one of my favourite farming games of 2022. In Wildflowers, you play as Tara, a city girl who finds herself moving to the remote island of Fairhaven after losing her job and being dumped. Your grandma owns a farm on this island, so you get a room to live in, and she gets some assistance with the farm chores. It doesn't take long for you to find out that your grandma is actually a witch, and is a member of the local witch coven. As you've inherited her witchy powers, you'll also join this coven, where you'll learn spells and incantations to assist with your farm work, and also to secretly help the town. Fairhaven is this large town with several notable areas such as a scenic mountain area, enchanted forest, beaches, and a main shopping district. This town is home to a large number of residents, each with very distinct backgrounds and personalities, and all of which you can get to know and build relationships with. After you join the local witch coven, where all the members conceal their identity, you'll do jobs to earn their trust and prove yourself as a witch. Being a witch certainly comes with perks as you'll learn a bunch of different spells and incantations. Not only are these used in quests, but you can also freely cast these in your everyday life to help with other tasks. There's potions to increase crop output, speed up growth, levitate objects, and there's also incantations that can freeze time, make you walk faster, and even turn you into an animal. The magic and farming parts of wildlife come together perfectly to make a very story-rich and interesting farming game. A lot of detail and effort has gone into this game, easily providing you with 40 to 60 hours of great gameplay, which is amazing value for money. Staxel is another great farming game that I think every fan of the genre should try, and is available on both PC and Nintendo Switch. It's a simple story where you move to a new town and start up a farm, while also getting to know the people who live in the town and doing them favours. Customization plays a huge part in this game. You can build up your farm any way you like, even editing your own home layout and building your own barns by placing building blocks of which you have a huge selection to choose from. Not only this, but you can build and customize everything in town. You'll be tasked with building residential houses for some newcomers, and you can edit pre-existing houses, decorate the town, and really do whatever you want. Crafting is also really fun in Staxel as it's done in quite a unique way. You'll need to source building materials such as wood, nails, glue, and more, and place them together on crafting stations to build items. Similarly, you'll need to add ingredients together to cook as well. It's really cool. Staxel is just such a fun game with a lot of customization and freedom to do whatever you want. Following this is Epic Chef, which is probably the funniest farming game I have ever played and is available on PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo Switch, and PC. The story for this one is that you're just a guy down on his luck who has purchased a new house in a new town to start over, but is somehow thrown into a tale of corrupt officials, haunted houses, and chef battles. In this game, you'll meet a lot of really interesting characters and witness a lot of cutscenes that, at least for me, made me laugh out loud several times. The main focus of this game is, of course, the cooking, but to do that you need ingredients, and that's where the farming comes in. The money you buy, albeit a tad haunted, has plenty of space for you to grow your own crops, house animals, and use crafting machines to produce artisan goods. As you progress, you'll unlock more ways to produce different ingredients to use in your cooking. The cooking is a minigame all in its own, where you combine 3 ingredients in a pan, and depending on their properties, you get certain points. Some ingredients mix with others to give more points, and you can also eventually add things like sauces that provide additional benefits. There's 3 main categories you can get points for: Vigor, Spirit, and Sophistication, and depending on what chef battle you're in, depends on what category of points you'll need to aim for. There's also a lot of other factors that come into play, but that's the main gist of it. There are a ton of chef battles that you'll compete in throughout the game, which can even get fairly challenging, so preparation and planning is key. As a newly found chef, you'll also get a restaurant to manage and upgrade as well. Overall, Epic Chef is an excellent and highly entertaining story, accompanied by some great gameplay, and I highly recommend it. You'll be in for a wild ride. Next up is My Time at Sandrock, which is the second game in the series following My Time at Portia. This game is basically a cut and paste of Portia, just with a change of story and location. So if you weren't a fan of that game, then this one probably won't impress you. You start the game just having moved to Sandrock, looking for a fresh start. You'll take up the role of a builder, and as another builder in town is retiring, you'll get his farm to work from. Starting off, you'll do some general commissions where you'll build some random objects and fix some items, and sooner or later the town will experience some drama that will require your building expertise to solve. So, pretty similar to Portia. The town you'll find yourself in is very different. Instead of a town surrounded by grassy meadows, you'll now be smack bang in the middle of the desert. Because of this, you'll experience some pretty fierce sandstorms, find different plants and animals, you won't have access to an abundance of wood, and you'll need to deal with water shortages. As there is a slight change in the resource availability in Sandrock, there is an impact on what machines you'll be able to make, giving you a few different ones to work with. There's also a whole new cast of interesting characters you'll get to know, each with their own personalities and stories. Be prepared for an incredibly grindy game, as you need to constantly go hunting for resources to use to craft items for your commissions. At the moment it is in early access, so content is still being added, but it's still definitely worth a try if you're interested. Otherwise, you can wait until it's fully released, where it will come out on other consoles. Ooblets is another great farming game that is currently available on PC, Xbox, and Nintendo Switch. In this game, you'll travel to Badge Town in the hopes of starting over, where you run into the newly appointed town mayor. After admitting that you have no money and no plans, she offers to give you an old rundown farm just outside of town if you agree to help her with some tasks to get the town back to normal. These tasks will have you travelling to other towns, reopening several buildings, restoring the wildlands, investigating things, and a few other odd jobs. The island where Badgetown is located is known for having these strange creatures called Ooblets that people keep as pets. Oddly enough, Ooblets are known for their strong love of competing with each other in dance battles. You'll find yourself competing with many people in these dance battles, as they not only occur in competitions, but are also widely used on this island to settle differences. You can also compete in dance battles with wild Ooblets, and if you win, you'll get the seed for that particular Ooblet, so you can grow one of your very own. These dance battles are seriously fun to do, and not once in my entire playthrough did I ever get sick of them. You'll dance to these really funky tunes, which got seriously stuck in my head all day even when I wasn't playing, so be prepared for that. Aside from Ooblets, you can also build relationships with the townfolk who are all quite unique and wacky, and you'll have a farm where you can grow crops and a home to customize. It's a really cute and quirky game that I thoroughly enjoyed. Keep in mind, it's a tad more expensive than the normal price of a farming game would usually be. Next, we have No Place Like Home, which isn't your typical farming game as it takes place in a post-apocalyptic world where you'll need to clean up trash in every area as you explore. The story is that you're about to leave Earth and travel to another planet as Earth has been devastated by pollution, but before you leave you decide to check in with your grandpa. Since you don't hear back, you travel to his farm to see if you can find him. Upon arrival, he's still nowhere to be seen, so you decide to stay at the farm while you investigate his disappearance. You'll first be tasked with cleaning up the farm, which you'll then be able to use to grow crops, house animals, and craft artisan goods. From there, you'll set off to clean up other areas of the land while you search for answers about your grandfather. A multi-purpose tool is used to clean up the trash, where it destroys and sucks it up, and it is so satisfying. Definitely my favourite part of the game. You'll do a lot of cleaning and at times it can get quite repetitive, but I still found it addicting nonetheless. As you clean up, you'll uncover old buildings that you can fix, and you'll meet a variety of people who are very grateful for your help. As you clean, you'll transform each area from this trashy, barren land to beautiful, lush environments, even bringing back some of the wildlife. It's quite a unique farming game, and the developers are still updating it with new content, so it's definitely worth a try. Moving on to Medieval Dynasty, which is quite different from other games on this list, but if you're after a more realistic game where you can build up and manage a town, assign jobs, and explore a medieval world, then this is the game for you. You play as a man whose family has just been killed in the war and has fled to a faraway village in hopes of finding a distant relative. Unfortunately, that relative passed some time ago, but a friendly villager points out that any land is free to build on, and you might even build your own little settlement. So that's exactly what you do. Starting off with your very own home, you'll be able to transform an empty patch of land into a settlement filled with people as you build more homes, farming land, food storage, hunting cabins, blacksmiths, and more. Of course, with this many buildings, you'll need a lot of resources, so a big chunk of your time will be spent collecting wood, rock, sticks, and other materials to make your buildings. Once you get the basics down, you'll be able to invite people to come and live with you in your settlement, where you can assign jobs and watch them go about their tasks. They do things like hunt for you, grow crops, create materials, and pretty much anything you want them to. You're not just limited to town building either, as there is a main story to follow surrounding the death of your relative, and many other fun side quests to do as well. If that doesn't interest you, you can simply stop after building your very own home and fill up the rest of your time by hunting, fishing, exploring the land, mining, getting drunk, and more. It takes quite a while to get into and learn the ropes, but once you get the hang of it, it's a really cool game. Next up is Graveyard Keeper, which is a slightly darker game with cannibalism, cults, and a lot of dead bodies, but it is a great game nonetheless. Graveyard Keeper is currently available on PC, Nintendo Switch, Xbox, and PlayStation. You begin your game having recently died, or you wake up in this mysterious world and are given the job as Graveyard Keeper. You've left behind a widow who you're desperate to return to, so with the help of a talking head named Jerry, you'll begin your journey of trying to find your way back home. In the meantime, to avoid any suspicions, you'll need to maintain the local graveyard, which means preparing and burying dead bodies. You'll find that the graveyard has been pretty poorly maintained, so you'll need to craft new headstones, add decorations, fix the fencing, and eventually expand the space. Conducting autopsies is also part of your new job, and you'll use this to your advantage as you learn to harvest organs to use in crafting and even cooking. As you progress in this game, you'll unlock many new avenues and quest lines, including expanding your home to allow farming, unlocking a whole bunch of different crafting stations, and reopening the church where you'll start conducting sermons. Graveyard Keeper can be quite grindy as you'll need to do a lot of crafting for quests and to maintain the graveyard. There is also some DLC available that adds worker zombies, a town building aspect, and tavern management, which were all great fun and often go on sale, so are great value for money. Finally, we have Littlewood, which is this cute 2D pixelated farming game available on Nintendo Switch and PC. This game may look simple, but there is quite a lot of content here, with a town to build up, homes to decorate, relationships to build, dating, farming, exploring different lands, and upgrading almost everything you can imagine. You play as the hero of Solemn, who has just woken up after defeating the Dark Wizard in an epic battle, although you have no memory of it. As the hero, you've now been tasked with rebuilding the town now that the Dark Wizard is gone. You'll be responsible for building new homes for anyone who wishes to move to your town, terraforming the land, and decorating homes based on everyone's personal preferences. You can shape this town to be however you like by planting crops, housing animals, moving buildings and shops around, placing paths, fences, and other decorations. As you progress in this game, you'll unlock the ability to travel to different lands, providing access to different shops and resources, and you'll also be able to open a museum where you'll have several collections to complete. Almost everything in Littlewood can be upgraded. All buildings can be upgraded to provide bonuses or unlock other items or uses. The town itself has perks that you can purchase to improve things, such as increasing the amount of crops or decorations you can have, and you'll also have your own personal goals to work towards. While the game may look fairly basic and may give you the impression that there's not a lot to it, that's far from the truth. It does start off a bit slow with not much to do to fill your days, but by the end of it you'll have a million things to do and not enough time to do it. I hope this list has given you a few new farming games to try out. Please let me know if you end up trying any and what you think of them, and also please leave a comment if you have any other farming game suggestions that I may have missed. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like if this video has helped you, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!